National Football League opened Monday and was predictably busy. A ton of buzz. Kevin Clark in the building for not one but two segments to discuss. You get per diem for that, by the way, since you're here. As important as the draft is, which is now its own cottage industry traveling circus, free agency can have a much quicker and more significant impact on franchises. You're getting proven professionals many times at a ridiculous premium. By rule, we are mandated to start with quarterbacks. It's not really true, but, it's kind of. And the day starts with a bit of a quarterback shakeup in Miami. As expected, Malik Willis on the move from Green Bay, a 3-year deal worth nearly $70 million. The former third-round pick spent some time with the Titans, didn't work out there. Spent the last 2 seasons backing up Jordan Love in Green Bay. Meanwhile, Miami's primary quarterback of the last 6 seasons,
Tua Tagovailoa,
officially on the move. He's going to Atlanta, 1-year deal, not worth a ton of money. That's because Atlanta's paying the freight there. The Willis deal, the 70th quarterback contract to include an average annual of at least $20 million. 6 career starts at the time of that contract, the fewest for any of those quarterbacks. That distinction previously held by Jimmy Garoppolo, who made 7 career starts before signing an extension with the Niners in 2018. Chiefs also making some significant news on Monday. The big question heading into the offseason, beyond when might Mahomes be back and healthy, is Travis Kelce done? He is officially going to run it back. A 1-year deal in 26 will mark his 14th season in the league, all with the Chiefs. Given the way it fell apart last year, not surprising to see that happen. Want one last bite of the apple. Meanwhile, Kansas City gets a running back they needed, Kenneth Walker III, 4th-time reigning Super Bowl MVP, switches teams the ensuing offseason, and the first since Dexter Jackson in the early 2000s. Chiefs offense limited by low production out of their running back committee last couple of seasons. Only the Raiders averaged fewer yards per rush at the position. The rest of the bottom 5 included the Saints and the Browns, and that's teams that Kansas City is very rarely on the same graphic on this program. All right, just want to give you this warning. This is Kevin Clark, by the way. He was so good in his debut, we flew him here to talk some free agency, but this is how this works. It's live, it's fluid. Paul Skeens might throw in a headset. If he does, we get the hell out. You understand?
You haven't even seen my fastball.
No, I understand that, but if it... Skeens is ready right now, so this isn't even a joke. We're going to ask you to step aside for just a moment. You can throw a fastball
Love you, Paul.
over here
I'm a
in
huge
just a
fan.
minute. Paul Skeens joins the show. Round! Hot round! Hot round! Sorry. Yeah, it's live TV.
The beauty of live TV.
It's the beauty, but I mean, I hate doing that to you, but...
As I was walking back, one of your guys just whispered, "Welcome to the show." That's what happens here.
Sort of how it goes. We're in this window. I don't think there's anyone else that could knock you off this set. I will not allow it to happen. As we were saying, we were talking quarterbacks. And on the pod with Steve, we were talking too, and I wondered aloud, is this perhaps the cautionary tale that shows GMs and ownership, if there's a guy, you're not sure he's the guy, you can't pay him like he's a guy, and then we landed on, no, it's probably not. No. What do you think of that?
It's not. This is a league, and football is my favorite thing in the world, but it's a league that runs on cowardice and risk aversion. That's just how decisions are made. Job preservation. If you've got a guy who's plausibly worth $50 million, $60 million, you end up paying him until there's a team that decides they're going to be the first team to walk away or to trade a guy after 4.5 or 5 years whenever he becomes due for a mega extension. Until that happens, these sort of ego extensions, which are often signed because they're trying to justify the GM's pick in the first place, those are going to keep on rolling. Tua had some highs. At one point, he had the highest passer rating in the NFL. That was in 2022. Led the league in passing yards in 2023. It wasn't like he was a mega bust, but this is obviously $99 million in dead cap. It's going to basically put them in cap jail for the next 2 years, essentially. But no, this is not going to be the cautionary tale. The next Tua is going to get a mega deal. That's how this league works.
So this makes it seem like it's a teardown in Miami, and then they go out and make this Willis acquisition, which is why I guess you were lukewarm about this. Explain sort of what is confusing to you.
We showed the graphic earlier that he had 6 starts and he gets this money. And obviously Jimmy Garoppolo had 1 more start, got this kind of money, different situation.
Sure.
But then you talk about Kevin Cobb, another guy who got money with that few of starts. Brock Osweiler, that few of starts, got a bunch of money. So when you switch teams, the track record is not great. But for me, The teardown part of it seemed so great this morning. They move on from Tua, they take their medicine, they rip the Band-Aid off, and they say, okay, it's time to take 2 years of cap medicine, and then we're going to go forward. Then they trade Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Jets. Again, you're clearing salary off the books, you're starting anew. Maybe you're in the hunt for Arch Manning next year. Maybe you're in the hunt for Dante Moore. Maybe those sort of signals. And then, an hour later, you sign Malik Willis. It just felt like, to me, you have mixed signals. Why are you spending $20 million at quarterback? Why are you spending more money guaranteed into 2027 at quarterback? It just felt like what they started to do in the morning was tearing it down to the studs, and then they got into win now mode. It's very strange. And also, you want to see with the quarterback what you have. There's not going to be a lot of talent on that roster. That's what concerns me. You're putting Malik Willis into a roster that is not going to accentuate his ability. He's a very, very high floor athlete. He's going to have some success, but that team will not have a lot of success. They might end up in purgatory, Scott.
Kansas City is a team that's been in the opposite of purgatory. They've lived in the AFC Championship, Super Bowls, all the rest. They have this one-year blip, and they get the guy that was the MVP in the most recent Super Bowl in Kenneth Walker III. I think we could see that he was going to land elsewhere. The fact that they do that now means that as they look at the next significant talent acquisition period, i.e. the draft, they can look elsewhere. How significant is that?
I loved this because Jeremiah Love was lurking as a potential top 10 pick.
Did you buy him to Kansas City?
Yeah, they need juice at that position, okay? Yeah. And all that comes along with being a running back for Andy Reid, Kenneth Walker can give you that. He was top 5 in yards after catch. That screen game with Andy Reid, you always need a guy who can create space there. He runs hard. He forced missed tackles. He's going to thrive there. Jeremiah Love could have been an option there if they didn't address it in free agency. What I like about this, maximum flexibility going into the draft now. Now you can go cornerback, which is a massive need at 9. You go Monsieur Delane from LSU, somebody like that. At 9, you're going to need a weapon later in the first round. You got 2 first-round picks to play with. Taking running back off the need board with Kenneth Walker was a massive move. You're not just paying $15 million a year for the player. You're paying $15 million a year to free up what you can do at 9. You cannot overstate how much flexibility this gives them. I love this from Brett Veach.
You think Delane could go that early?
He's really good. I think so.
Wow.
I think so. I mean, that was...
well, when they moved McDuffie, I get it. Like, suddenly you have a more pressing need.
Our colleague Field Yates mocked him there after free agency tonight.
Okay. There's so much that we want to discuss. The show will be Commanders signings. All right, not so much. Free agency started officially noon Eastern, and though I think wink, maybe people talked before then. It's hard to say. Mike Evans moving on from Tampa. San Francisco is next home. Alec Pierce got a record $116 million deal. Wan'Dale Robinson was a significant contributor in a Giants offense that didn't always have rock-solid quarterback play. He is moving on. Wan'Dale is going to the Titans. Kenneth Walker III, not the only running back who moved. Travis Etienne will be heading to the Saints after 4 years with the Jags. I guess that means the Kamara time is done there. Kenneth Gainwell was the MVP from the team vote with Pittsburgh. He's heading to Tampa. He had a big year with the Steelers. And the Raiders send a record amount of money to a center. Tyler Linderbaum was expected to reset the center market. He does, and they spent a whole bunch of money across the board. They're getting linebackers, all sorts of stuff. Kevin Clark is back, and we have a segment that we could never really figure out how to make it work on Sunday shows, but this is the perfect place for it. It's called Fantasy versus Reality. You have a guy that maybe the team loses by a zillion, but he has 6 catches for 120 and 3 touchdowns. Huge fantasy impact, but maybe not in real life. Well, there's some names, we just mentioned some, that are going to get drafted, and it's going to matter in fantasy teams, but in real life, maybe not. I want to know what move from those fantasy-type positions you think has real impact to the team that got this player.
It's Mike Evans. I mean, it's Mike Evans in the Kyle Shanahan offense. Kyle Shanahan's not going to spend a bunch of money on an ex-receiver, a guy who's going to be able to put out in isolation routes. He's probably, along with Jamar Chase, the best isolation route guy in football. He's as good as there is against man coverage. He's about to shatter the record. He's about fantasy. He's about to shatter the record for 1-yard touchdowns in a season. He's getting about 700 this season with Kyle Shanahan in that offense. He's tall. He gets contested catches. This is going to be awesome. There's no other way to put it. If he's healthy, which is the big question, it's the reason he was available. It's the reason the Bucs let him hit free agency. If he's healthy, he's going to rewrite record books as far as what an ex-receiver in the 49ers Kyle Shanahan offense can look like. Think about Andre Johnson, all those guys who played Julio Jones. Kyle Shanahan knows how to use these guys.
Okay. I mean, he wouldn't spend that money just for a guy. Like it's not a glamour piece.
Not a flyer.
Understood. Now, in our meeting and upstairs in the room, you mentioned how teams can sort of microwave themselves in free agency, and you showed how the Patriots did it last year. Who's a team that acquired people that significantly changed their makeup today?
It's the Titans. The Patriots got 8 starters in free agency last year and basically changed their makeup. Look at the guys who went on the field for them first in the Super Bowl. It was a bunch of guys they signed for $10 million a year type deals. The type of deals the Titans signed today. Jonathan Franklin Myers, a guy who you want to ask the Super Bowl teams how important pass rush up the middle is. That's not an underrated trait in this league. Cordell Flott, Alante Taylor, those are 2 starters at cornerback. Daniel Bellinger, the tight end, who Brian Daboll knows well from New York. The Wan'Dale Robinson, 4 years, $70 million for a volume shooter. Cam Ward needed a security blanket, let's say, in the passing game. I wish they could have gotten Alec Pierce as a big, sort of a big play threat. Cam Ward likes to go big play hunting, but why not get a little closer line of scrimmage with Wan'Dale Robinson? I love this whole operation now for Cam Ward in year 2. This is the team that's going to be next year's Patriots. This is the team that makes a huge leap because second-year quarterback, real coaching staff, and the signings in free agency.
All right. You're a fit guy. I don't know if you ride the Peloton.
I do.
Okay. Who's your instructor of choice? Who do you ride with?
A lot. I mean, Jess King is someone I did the other day.
I don't cheat on my guy AT, okay. Alex Toussaint. All right. The reason I ask is he has a segment. It's freestyle. It's the floor is yours to do whatever you want. And what he would say is, be free, do you, have fun. There's so much that happened today. Something you liked, something you hated. Go until I tell you you're done.
We laugh a lot at the Cincinnati Bengals when it comes to money because normally they screw something up. But guess what? Today, I loved what they did getting Brian Cook, who does not miss tackles. He's from the Chiefs. He's going to be back there. He's not going to make mistakes. Geno Smith, the last guy, made a lot of mistakes and missed a lot of tackles. And then you just talk about the way to get Boye Mafe, one of the most athletic guys on the defensive line, had a pass rush win rate better than anybody in the Bengals last year. That's the type of significant move that gets Joe Burrow to the playoffs again. They need to be average to get Joe Burrow to the playoffs. 15th, 16th, 17th in the NFL. They're not there yet. These types of moves, however small they may seem, get Joe Burrow closer to that. I absolutely loved it. Also love what the Bears did in the middle of the defense, getting faster, a guy like Devin Bush. So couple of contenders, playoff contenders, making small moves, getting faster. These are the types of moves. Again, we're talking about microwaving your franchise. You can do that now. You used to not be able to. 10 years ago, free agency was a bad word, okay? It was, you're signing somebody else's problems. No, guys want to get to the open market because they know they can get paydays because the way that the cap goes up $15, $20 million a year, and they know they can find football homes that make sense. Free agency has totally changed, and the teams are understanding that, like the Patriots did last year, like the Raiders are this year, the Titans this year, are changing their franchises overnight.
I kidded about making this all about Commanders, but one bonus question that'll be interesting to the folks in our neighborhood. When Washington goes out and gets a pass rusher in Oweh, how does that change the direction they might look at 7, given that there's some talented pass rushers out there, but perhaps they've addressed it and they could look elsewhere?
One thing the best teams do, we just saw with the Rams, is they throw resources at problems. And so I would not be surprised. The Commanders, I still think, do have a great front office. I would not be surprised if they still go pass rusher in the first round and get a Bailey, a Bain. I don't think Reese will be there, but somebody like that and just say, you know what, we're going to throw resources at this problem, have a nasty front 7 and go from there. That's how you win the Super Bowl.
Still waiting on Murray.
Still waiting on Murray. Trey Hendrickson.
Say again? Yeah, Hendrickson and Murray. Those are the next dominoes?
Yeah, Devin Lloyd was a late signing to the Panthers.
And you like what the Panthers did?
I really like it. Jalen Phillips, I believe $30 million a year. Those, if it solves your problem, it's not an overpay, okay? We all want to cosplay GM. We all want to say, oh, this is a slight overpay. Oh, they reset the market. If it solves your problem, it's not an overpay. The Panthers didn't overpay for a great pass rusher.
This is football. It could be. We could just keep going, but that's your thing. Are you here tomorrow also?
Yes.
Really?
I am.
2 days per diem. Love it. And hopefully tomorrow, like whoever's the guest, we'll book them and we'll tape it and we'll just.
All right.
We won't let them knock.
Listen, I was fine.
I still haven't seen the
off
fastball. Like allegedly, it's as good as skiing.